Hey guys, Ryan Nissen,
Jesse Ziegler
with Cycle News, and we're riding the 2023 Honda CRF450R 50th anniversary. Now, you can't believe it, but it's already new bike season. This is like one of 3 models that Honda's offering the Honda 450R in. So it comes in the 50th anniversary edition, which comes with the gold bars, different triple clamps with a different coating, gold wheels, blue seat. This thing's gonna take you back to 1986. I feel like I'm at Anaheim. I'm David Bailey.
I'm
this
Rick
is
Johnson.
Rick Johnson. And they also have the standard 450R, which is gonna be without the gold rims, the gold bars, things like that. That bike is $95.99. The 50th anniversary bike is $98.99. So $300 extra to get all the extra bling and shiny stuff.
Okay, Ryan, everybody wants to know what's new for 2023 on the Honda 450R. I want you to give me everything they changed on this thing.
I knew there was going to be a test on this. So I personally like this time of the year when we're in this kind of generation. So this is the 3rd year of this generation, the new Honda generation, the 21 to 23. So they're just making little changes. The bike has been, this is a great platform from when it started, but they've been tweaking it with suspension and things like that. So for 23 though, there's a couple big changes, starting with the frame. This is actually a different frame than the 21 and the 22. There's actually extra gusseting, extra material around the front end of the frame where the front engine hangers bolt into, as well as where the shock bolts into. And this is to add extra rigidity to the bike. It's supposed to just help with the balance of the bike. In the 21 and the 22 had kind of some pitching, kind of was dealing with the suspension settings as well, but this is kind of matching to help that and to help with the overall balance of the bike. And with that, they added a stiffer shock spring and then matched that with the different front fork setting, so the bike is just more balanced all around.
So really, in general, chassis-wise, it's kind of a refresh, sort of like if you took your bike in and got it custom valve tuned, ready to go. That's what Honda did this year on the 23. We're expecting it to be stiffer in the chassis in general, and then stiffer suspension settings as well to try to counteract some of that difficult to set up and stay balanced nature that the Honda had in the past. The other thing they added to the frame system is they switched these top engine mounts from aluminum to steel. So they're messing with the frame flex, rigidity, and the way it balances with the bike a lot for 23.
And just like a steel frame or aluminum frame, the steel has more of a flexible characteristic.
Yeah, right.
So adding that steel mount inside the frame are going to allow the engine to kind of flex independently a little bit more.
Yeah.
All based on that better balance of the bike.
This is a pretty big change for Honda, honestly. If you have a 22 and you think you're just going to revalve to get a 23, it's probably not going to happen unless you really do a lot of, specific chassis modifications, which are going to be pretty difficult.
Right, and this frame is different from the 22 and the 21. So to say that this is just the same bike, yeah, it's close, but the frame does make it a very big difference.
Pretty big mod year for Honda, I would say. I love the blue seat on the 50th anniversary edition. I love the gold bars, gold rims, triple clamps, the graphics.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
amazing. It looks cool. Hondas always look cool. But let's talk about the engine delivery and power, because that's changed significantly as well.
Yeah, and going along, when they changed this bike in 21, the overall idea was to make it a smoother, more usable power band, make the whole engine just more rideable, and they've continued that theme with the 23. They made the intake port smaller, the throttle body smaller, all aimed, just a little bit, but all aimed at making it a smoother delivery in the slow speed stuff, and then that carry from bottom to mid.
Yeah, they're really going for a torque linear power curve with plenty of horsepower, plenty of speed on tap, but they're smoothing it out across the board. And that goes from intake to exhaust. The new exhaust has a much smaller internal, construction system, and it's a lot quieter than it has been in the previous years.
Right, so yeah, it's definitely noticeable when you ride it. It's a lot smoother, quieter, it's not really ringing out your ears. The last couple years, the muffler has kind of been a little loud after maybe like 15-20 hours. The packing starts to go out. So obviously on a brand new bike, it's going to sound really good.
Really from, mapping all the throttle systems, the throttle body, intake track, all the way out to the exhaust, we're looking at a focus from Honda to make a more rideable 450 motocross bike, and not so much of a snappy, rocket ship, intimidating bike.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed, especially after Spain, this is our 2nd day on this bike. We rode it once at Cahuilla Creek, now we're here today at Glen Helen. No secret, I always like to ride these bikes in the smooth map, the old man map, whatever you want to call it. This bike is so smooth that I've actually run it in the standard setting. The aggressive is still, it's just too much of a hard hit for me, but the mellow setting that I normally run is actually almost too smooth.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the metal setting on this bike specifically, and I kind of like the stock map as well. I think stock's where it's at. I'm gonna try the aggressive map, see if I can man up, but I doubt it. I'm not that big of a man. All right, that's all the new stuff that they bolted on this thing. How did it work for you? First day at Cahuilla, second day here at Glen Helen.
So to me, the biggest change that I noticed is just the engine delivery and just how smooth the bike is. Overall, it feels, the whole package feels very refined. That's kind of why I like this time of the year, or this time of the generation, is because the bike just keeps getting better. All these little issues that they have keep getting refined, and the whole package feels better. It just feels smoother, easier to ride. I spent a lot of time on this bike last year, so I'm pretty familiar with it, and I like this bike. So having it just keep getting better, I'm a big fan.
For me, it's a night and day difference from the last generation. The last generation, honestly, intimidated me on a 450 basis to the point where I would choose a different bike to ride during shootouts on purpose because the Honda was A, a little aggressive on the power delivery, and B, it was really hard to set up the chassis to be compliant, have hold up, and really work everywhere for me. I always chased the Honda around in a circle. This generation, I just put everything back to stock today from all the mods and tweaks that we did the other day, and I'm loving it today. And the track's not in good shape. It's beat up, it's rough. There's a lot of fast guys here today making lines that I can't hit. There's a lot of kids on two strokes making other lines I can't hit and passing me. But I'm really feeling more confident on a Honda 450 than I have in a few years, since this generation came out, honestly. So on the first day, you rode it more than I did, and you were messing with stuff, trying to get that balance right. You messed with high speed, you messed with fork. What did you do to get your first day setting dialed in?
So they made the bike a little bit stiffer, and at the end of the day, the track's all choppy. We were at Cahuilla Creek, real fast, high speed, bumpy. So I took 4 clicks out on the forks on compression, and on the shock, I messed with the high speed. So that allowed the shock to free up faster. I also went to 107 sag as opposed to 105 sag, just to get the bike to have a little bit extra give in the rear end. That kind of, with the heavier shock spring, the stiffer shock spring, to me I found a little more balance in the bike as the track wore out and the track got a little rougher.
Typically, I think the opposite of some people on bikes, and that's the cool thing about bikes. Everybody's different. I went back today, Glen Helen, totally back to stock, and I'm really happy with it right now. I stiffened the fork up back to stock, so I went in 4, which is a pretty big change, and I put the shock back to stock on high speed. We're back to stock on rebound and compression, and I think as a track day bike, without tuning for race conditions or things, it's a good setting.
All right, so to wrap things up, this is probably one of the best looking bikes on the market right now. I love anything retro. I'm a sucker for the retro kit. So in that sense, Honda, you're winning.
Yeah, and on performance, I think it's a move in the right direction for more realistic 450 buyers out there. Clearly, there's an exhaust system on here that'll wake this thing up and make it bark like last year's bike. It'll, be a Ken Roxon and Chase Sexton bike in a heartbeat if you really want it to be. But for most people that are buying bikes and going to the track, this platform is getting better and better every year. And to people like me, that's a big win.
All right, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Check us out on social media, and always read the Cycle News magazine. Until next time, we'll catch you guys at the track.
Go riding as soon as possible. Go ride right now.